Hello everyone, this is part 5 video on past year NEET questions from the topic D and F block elements. We'll start with a question that has come in the year 2006. In which of the following pairs are both the ions colored in aqueous solution? In fact, in one of the previous parts also we have seen this kind of question. So what will be the reason for the color in aqueous solution? It is the existence of the unpaired electrons. So when the particular ion is having unpaired electrons, that is going to give rise to internal transitions, D to D transition, etc., and that will be attributing for the color. So we have to choose which of the following pair. It is not just one ion, we have to choose the pair. So let us see what are the elements first of all that are there. Scandium 3+ is there, okay, then titanium 3+, then nickel, then cobalt, then copper. So let us just look at what is the electronic arrangement of scandium. Scandium is what? Argon 3d1 4s2. Scandium 3+ means what is it going to be? We have to remove 3 electrons, means it will become argon. Titanium is what? The element that will come after scandium, right? 3d2 4s2. Titanium 3+ means it will be what? Argon 3d1. Nickel is what? 3d8 4s2. So nickel 2+ will be what? Argon 3d8. Copper is what? 3d10 4s1. Remember, the abnormal electronic arrangement will be for chromium and copper. Chromium is what? 3d5 4s1 and copper is what? 3d10 4s1. This comes because of the extra stability of the half filled D and full filled D structure. Cobalt is what? 3d7 4s2. Now if you look at it, right, the scandium 3+ is having argon structure. Titanium 3+ is having argon 3d1, means yes, unpaired electrons are there. Nickel 2+ is having argon 3d8. This also will have unpaired electrons. 3d8 means what? There will be 5 d orbitals. We have to first fill one each and then we will start pairing them. We can see there will be how many unpaired electrons? 2 unpaired electrons are there. Then copper plus. After removing 1 electron from 4s1, we will have what? 3d. So this scandium 3+ does not have unpaired electrons. Copper plus does not have unpaired electrons. How about cobalt 2+? After removing 2 electrons, we will have 3d7. Means this will have unpaired electrons. We can check it. So we will have 7 electrons to be filled. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then we will pair 2 of them. Means the number of unpaired electrons is what? 3. So titanium 3+, nickel 2+, cobalt 2+. These are what? Having unpaired electrons, means these can give color in aqueous solution. Now if you look at the set A is having what? Copper plus, means not going to be happening because copper plus is what? Having no unpaired electrons. So that is not going to give the color. Set C, scandium 3+. Again not possible because scandium 3+ does not have unpaired electrons. Set D also having scandium 3+. The one that is having nickel 2+ and titanium 3+, that will be having unpaired electrons in these ions, means that pair will be able to give color in the aqueous solution. So the correct answer for this is option B. I mean, it's a straight question. All that we have to do is just write down the electronic arrangement of the elements. So for that, right, we should remember the order of the 3D: scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. This is the 3D series. Mostly in all these trends, etc., right, we will be getting questions on the 3D, not so much on the 4D or 5D. Okay, so we have to be familiar with these 3D series and the respective elements. This is a question that has come in 2006. The copper sulfate, which means they are talking about the copper 2 sulfate. Okay, copper sulfate dissolves in excess KCN and it gives rise to what? So there is an excess potassium cyanide which you are making the copper sulfate to dissolve in. So what will be the product? So it's a reaction based question. Let us look at what happens. The copper 2 sulfate, right, will react with potassium cyanide. It will be forming what? Copper 2 cyanide. It will be forming copper 2 cyanide. This copper 2 cyanide will convert itself into cuprous cyanide. The cupric cyanide, copper 2 means what? Cupric. Cupric cyanide will convert itself into what? Cuprous. Cu2 Cn twice means what? This is cuprous. Copper is in +1 state. Okay. And this cuprous cyanide will react with the KCN to finally give us K3CuCN4 times. So K3CuCN4 times is the coordination complex, right? It will be a white colored substance. And if you look at what is the corresponding ion, so what is the corresponding ion that is there? If you look at 3 potassium means 3 plus, right? So the CuCN4 times will have a total charge of 3 minus. So 3 K plus ions will be there when you separate it out, right? 3 K plus ions will be there, and then the CuCN4 3 minus. So the correct answer for this is option C. So these kind of complex formation based questions also we have to be looking at, especially whatever the complex formation reactions in the NCERT textbook, we have to cover them thoroughly. Next we have another question. This is a reaction question on the KMnO4. Remember, in some of the previous questions also, when we are discussing about the reaction questions, right, we have said that the reactions of KMnO4 and the reactions of K2Cr2O7, both these are important. Potassium dichromate reactions and potassium permanganate reactions. The number of moles of KMnO4 reduced by 1 mole of Ki in the alkaline medium. See, in alkaline medium, the Mn will change from +7 state to +4 state. Acidic medium means it will change from +7 to +2. So the MnO4 minus ion will become what? Manganese oxide. It will become MnO2. So if you see the oxygen, nascent oxygen atoms released is what? 3. The number of nascent oxygen atoms released is what? 3. And every one Ki molecule will react with 3 nascent oxygens to form KiO3. So which means 1 mole of Ki, right, will require how many moles of KMnO4? It will require 2 moles of KMnO4. So this balancing we are doing just based upon the nascent oxygens. So on getting reduced, 2 moles of KMnO4 will give us 3 moles of nascent oxygens. Every 1 mole of Ki will require 3 moles of nascent oxygens. So what is the balancing? 1 mole of Ki requires 2 moles of KMnO4. So these KMnO4 questions and K2Cr2O7 questions we have to be clear in terms of the reactions. So the correct answer for this is what? Option B. Next we have a question that has come in the year 2005. 4 successive members of the first row of transition elements. Typically I have been telling that we will get usually questions in the first row of the transition series. First row means what? We are talking about the 3D series. Scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. The first zinc, of course, we will not count it in the transition elements. Okay. So 4 successive members of the first row of the transition elements are listed below with their atomic numbers. So what are the elements given to us? Vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron. So they are in that order, sequence they are there. Okay. So what is the sequence? We can see vanadium 23, then comes chromium 24, then comes manganese 25, then comes iron 26. Okay. Now which one of them is expected to have highest third ionization enthalpy? See, what do you mean by third ionization enthalpy? Any metal, if it is already lost 2 electrons, it will be what? Divalent ion. When you remove 1 more electron, that step is what we call as the third ionization. That particular step is what we will be calling as the third ionization. So a divalent ion losing electron to form trivalent, right? That is the third ionization. So if you want to compare, see, generally what is the trend? The trend is any ionization energy value or enthalpy value, if you move from left to right, because so vanadium is in the left, iron is in the extreme right, because they are in a 3D series means what? This is the 4th period of the table. Where the 3D series elements are there, they are in the 4th period of the table. So left to right means the ionization enthalpy must increase. But then when we have a stable structure like a half filled D or a half filled P, we will see that there will be what? Abnormalities. So let us look at what is the electronic arrangement of the divalent ions of these elements. Vanadium 2 plus. See, vanadium 2 plus will have an arrangement of 3D3. Chromium 2 plus will have an arrangement of 3D4. Manganese 2 plus will have an arrangement of 3D5. Iron 2 plus will have an arrangement of 3D5 4s1. Now if you look at it, right, the manganese 2 plus is having the most stable structure, 3D5 structure, because if you have to remove the electron means you have to disturb the 3D5 structure. See, here if you have to remove the electron means you have to remove it from 3D3 structure. Here we have to remove it from 3D4 structure. In this case we have to remove the 4s electron. But in the case of manganese 2 plus, we have to remove the electron from 3D5. Since 3D5 is already a stable arrangement, right, it will be requiring lot of energy. So the abnormality of this extra stable 3D5 structure, manganese 2 plus, right, is having what? A stable structure. Manganese 2 plus is having a stable structure. That is the reason why the third ionization enthalpy of manganese is going to be what? Highest. Otherwise, generally what we expect, left to right it will increase, means vanadium must be less than chromium, less than manganese, less than iron. That is the expected trend. But manganese will be having extra stability of the 3D5 structures in manganese 2 plus. So it will require a lot of energy to remove the electron and form manganese 3 plus. That is the reason why manganese, the third ionization enthalpy, will be in fact more than that of the iron itself. So the correct answer for this is option C, manganese. So whenever they are asking questions on comparison of the first ionization enthalpy, second ionization enthalpy, third ionization enthalpy, we have to look for the abnormality structure. Otherwise, in any period, right, left to right when we move means the ionization enthalpy values are going to be increasing. But we have to look for the abnormality. Like even in the case of half filled P, remember the nitrogen ionization enthalpy will be more than oxygen. Why? Because nitrogen has got half filled P structure, P3 structure, extra stable. Okay. So next we have a question that has come in the year 2005. The aqueous solution containing which one of the following ions will be colorless? So here we have scandium 3 plus, Fe2 plus, titanium 3 plus, and then manganese 2 plus. See, this is a question that we have seen quite often, the same model of question getting repeated. So here we need to find which of them will be colorless. Now color of these ions, right, is attributed to what? It is attributed to the existence of unpaired electrons. The unpaired electrons can have transitions like D to D transition, which gives them the characteristic color because of the energy exchange involved. Now what we need to do is we have to look at the electronic arrangement of these ions and check which will have no unpaired electrons. See, first what is there? Scandium is there. Scandium, what is the arrangement? Argon 3d1 4s2 means scandium 3 plus. What will be scandium 3 plus? After removing 3 electrons, it will be what? Just argon, means there will be no unpaired electrons. So in this we will not have any unpaired electrons, means what? This will be definitely a colorless substance. In aqueous solution it will be what? Colorless. So we got our answer. What is it? Option A. But we can still check the others like titanium, right? It comes just after scandium, second element of the 3D series, right? What is it? Argon 3d2 4s2. Titanium 3 plus means what? It will have Ta3 plus will have argon 3d1, means there are unpaired electrons. It will be colored. Fe2 plus. Fe will be what? Normal iron will be having a structure argon 3d6 4s2. Fe2 plus means what is it? Argon 3d6, means this also will have what? This will be having unpaired electrons. Then we have the manganese 2 plus. So manganese, what is the manganese arrangement? It is argon 3d5 4s2, that is manganese. Manganese 2 plus means argon 3d5 it becomes. So this also will have unpaired electrons. So while we fill the 5 electrons into the d orbitals, right, how do we fill them? We'll have 5 d orbitals. We'll have to fill one with each parallel spin. That's it. Means we have 5 unpaired electrons. So the only place where we don't have any unpaired electrons is scandium 3 plus. Hence, that is going to be colorless in the aqueous solution. Next, we have another straight question that has come in the 2004. Among the following series of transition metal ions, the one where all the metal ions have 3d2 electronic configuration is. So we have to find out which of all will have the same configuration 3d2. See, first look at this now. If you check out these options, we have titanium 3 plus, titanium plus, titanium 4 plus, titanium 2 plus. What is titanium? Titanium electronic arrangement is titanium is the second element, by the way. Argon 3d2 4s2 means if we have titanium 2 plus, what is the arrangement it is going to have? It will be having argon 3d2, means it is having the 3d2 arrangement. That's what we are looking for, right? Means titanium 2 plus will be having argon 3d2. Now we can check what about vanadium 3 plus. So what is the vanadium arrangement? Vanadium is argon, vanadium comes after titanium. So vanadium is what? Argon 3d3 4s2. Vanadium 3 plus means what? It's like, we are removing one more electron. Again, it will be what? Argon 3d2. Then if you check the order, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese. We will see titanium 2 plus, vanadium 3 plus, chromium 4 plus, manganese 5 plus. Because we are increasing one electron, right? We are increasing one electron, which means what? If you remove 2 electrons from titanium, that will be equivalent to removing 3 electrons from vanadium. That will be equivalent to removing 4 electrons from chromium. That will be equivalent to removing 5 electrons from manganese. So all of them are going to have what kind of an arrangement? They will be having argon 3d2 arrangement. So the correct answer for this is option D. It's a straight question based on the electronic arrangement. Next we have another straight question. Lanthanoids are. So it's just about the definition of lanthanoids. So what are lanthanoids? Lanthanoids are the 14 elements which will exist in the 6th period. So where they will come? They will come in the 6th period, that are filling the 4f sublevel. So if you look at lanthanoids, where they will come in the 6th period after lanthanum. So lanthanum is a transition metal. After lanthanum we have cerium. Lanthanum is 57, starting from 58, right? Cerium to lutetium. So these are all, there will be 14 elements. So where the electrons will be filled into 4f subshell. So we'll see that as the electrons are filled into 4f subshell, right? There will be certain peculiar properties that these elements will exhibit in terms of the chemical reactivity, sizes, everything being almost very close to each other. And since the electrons are entering into poor shielding effect f subshell or f orbitals, we also see a contraction in the size of these atoms as we move from left to right. So as we move from left to right, the radius is going to be what? Decreasing, and that's what we call as the lanthanoid contraction. So the correct answer for this is what? Option C. So what are lanthanoids? The 14 elements that will come in the 6th period, atomic number 58 to 71, and the electrons will be filled into what? The 4f subshell. Next we have another straight question. Which one of the following characteristics of transition metals is associated with their catalytic activity? So catalytic activity of the transition metals, right, is because of what? Because of their ability. Like if you look at a platinum or a palladium or a chromium, so most of these transition metals, right, they will have unfilled d orbitals, because of which they can exhibit variable oxidation states. So the existence of unfilled d orbitals, they can exhibit what? Variable oxidation state. Since they can exhibit variable oxidation state, they will be able to form a variety of chemical interactions. As a result of it, their catalytic activity will be much more than any of the other elements. So the reason why transition metals are chosen for the better catalytic activity is because of the variable oxidation states that they can exhibit, and that is mainly attributed to what? The existence of the unpaired or unfilled d orbitals. So the correct answer for this is option D. Next we have a question that has come in 2003. The basic character of transition metal monoxides follows which order? See, the oxides, right? If you look at any period, so we are talking about what? Titanium, vanadium, chromium and iron. So where these elements will come? They will come in the 3D. 3D is actually what? The 3D series comes in the fourth period. So all these elements are coming in a period: titanium, then vanadium, then chromium, then comes manganese, then comes iron. So this is the order we have in terms of these elements. So as we move from left to right, what is going to happen? The oxides will become less basic. As we move from left to right, the oxides are going to become what? Less basic. Means titanium monoxide will be more basic than vanadium, will be more basic than chromium, will be more basic than iron. So as we move from left to right, the basic nature of the oxides will be what? Decreasing. So this is about this part video, and we'll see in the next part.